Mark, not the way you wanted to celebrate your 50th game in charge of the Mariners, I'm sure. What's your assessment of that performance from your team tonight?
Yeah, it's not the way. Of course, it's not. I was unaware of that, but yeah, it's not the way we want to go out in any game. The assessment of the game was we got beaten by the better team and better individual players. So that's my assessment of it from an initial point of view, and I think it'll be the same when I review it back.
You're struggling to score goals, obviously, and create opportunities. So you didn't have a single shot on target tonight. Is that the main area of concern for you, or are there other things?
It's a big area of concern, of course it is, and it's been present all season. So we can't get away from that. Other areas of our game have not been as good as well. So I can't just pin it on that, but that's a really big area where we're falling down at the minute. I think the goals we concede at times are very, very sloppy. So that's an area we need to work on as well. But yeah, all in all, we've not been up to the level in this game, and we've probably not been up to the level this season.
It's a fact of life, obviously, that A-League clubs have to sell players to make money. But is it impossible from a coach's point of view when you're constantly selling your best players, and you've done that really for the last 2 seasons, even before you arrived, to remain competitive over the long term?
It's not impossible, but it certainly makes it challenging. Of course it does. Particularly when you lose good players who've been at the club for a long time. You know, the players we did lose last year. It takes time for the younger players to step up and get to that level, and even the players who come in, it takes them time to get to that level as well, particularly when you can't replace like-for-like players. You know, we got to the players for the last 2 seasons to a certain level where they had success at the end of the season, which takes a lot of quality of those players, and to replace that you need to either get like-for-like players or keep the players who you've been working with. And when it happens where you lose them and you can't replace them like for like, it takes time to kind of embed the new players in. So yeah, it is very challenging. But it's not impossible, but it is very challenging.
6 games to go, I think 10 points short of the top 6. How do you sort of, I guess, get a wriggle on and put yourself back in that frame?
Well, listen, we've got to start performing better than we performed today collectively. We've got to address that first and foremost. We had a really good week last week and we trained really well. We actually started the game off early doors in the first few minutes quite well, and then we conceded a goal trying to play out. You know, a young player making a mistake, and listen, these things happen. He'll learn from that, of course he will. We're never going to be a team who are going to say, listen, we just send it long. We have a certain way of playing. But you know, these mistakes happen, and I think that knocked our confidence a lot, and we never recovered from that. Let's remember we're playing against a very good team and very good individuals as well. Really, really good players, particularly the attacking players. Very skillful, very dominant in 1v1 situations, and we struggled to deal with that predominantly today. And yeah, like I said, they were the better team and with the better individual players.
I mean, it doesn't get any easier. Auckland away. I mean, that could be probably the worst thing to face now, but it can also be a really good thing. Do you try and look at embracing that challenge as a way to maybe kickstart some sort of run?
It's the only way you can do it. You know, you want to play against the best teams, of course you do. You've got to be no fear factor going into games. When you're in a run of form wearing, you know, it's not ideal, and we've got to try and pick the players up, particularly younger players. But, you know, they've got to show that level of motivation as well to go out and compete, which is really, really important. And, you know, competing, inputting your physicality on the game is a big part of what we do and what I believe in as well. So we can't let that fall away. And, you know, like I said, today we fell short today, and you know, they were the better team in all aspects with the ball and from a physical point of view as well, particularly in the duels, attacking duels, and us defending. Yeah, we fell short, but that has to be our motivation going into the final games where we have to try and win football matches, and it's that pride of the players that they should want to do that.
Do you think you'll get Kuol back for next week? I know you had that knock and probably didn't ever look likely for tonight.
We'll have to assess it. I'm hoping he's going to be back in training and vying for a place, of course. You know, he's an experienced player within the squad, but again, a player who's not been firing. But listen, we want as many players as we can available, and then it's up to me to kind of see who's wanting to play, who's showing that desire to play and that desire, like you said, to go out and win football matches. So yeah, I'll be assessing that during the week.
Mark, realistically, 6 games to go. As Anna said, you're 10 points behind the top 6. Is at least part of your thinking now on looking ahead to next season and maybe rebuilding the squad a bit?
Well, we're on with that already. Yeah, we're starting that behind the scenes already about looking at players, looking what we need. It's clear we need people are vying for their futures at the club. That's what it is. Of course it is. And they've got to show levels of performance to want to stay here and want to be part of it next year, of course. So, that's been going on for a while behind the scenes now, and we're putting things in place ready to action that when we can. There's no doubt we need to make the squad stronger. My assessment of it as well is we need to raise the bottom bar, in my opinion. That's clear. Raise that competitiveness of the squad. I think we want a little bit more experience in there as well to get the blend in there. So, that's the wheels are in motion on that already. We're working hard behind the scenes with that. But listen, we've got games to continue with this season, and we've got to try and finish on a positive note.
So, by the sounds of it, you've not been convinced by some of the players that have been playing this season that they deserve to be with the Mariners next year.
Well, that's the same. When you're in a position we're in, there's obviously levels of performance have not been there. Of course, the table doesn't lie at the end of the day. We deserve to be where we are, and there's clear areas of the team where we need to improve. So that's what we're working on.
There seemed to be on the faces of one or two of the players tonight. I think Mikael Dock was one. There's a sense of real frustration at how this game tonight and how this season has panned out. Do you sense that as well during the week?
During the week? Not
Yeah.
during the week, no. 100% not during the week. The focus of the team has been very good this week. We mixed it up a little bit, and we trained in a little bit of a different way, and the focus of the boys and the response of the boys was very good. When you're losing games and teams are kind of dominating you in certain situations and frustrations creep in, my challenge is you can't let that dominate things, of course. Good body language, positivity around things has got to be there. But when the team's not performing and you're on the end of another defeat, then frustrations are going to creep in, of course.
Any injuries to come out of tonight, or have you got a clean bill of health?
From today, no. I think just kind of a precaution with Trent. I think he was feeling a bit of cramp, but it's something we need to look at, and we made the substitutions at half time. Nothing with injuries at half time. I just wanted to freshen it up, and we were 2-0 down. We have to try and get after the game a little bit in some respect, but we have to be very respectful that if we opened up too soon, then we can suffer again. So yeah, we made changes at half time to try and put a different impetus on it, put some fresh legs on, a little bit more intensity, and it didn't work for us tonight.